In this video, we will talk about losing belly fat after the age of 30. And I know it seems like it's a little harder to lose weight now compared to before when we were in our 20s. Specifically, our belly fat is a lot harder and more stubborn. It does feel that it's a struggle, right? Back in the days, we could just do a juice cleanse or cut the carbs and have our abs showing by the weekend. But now it seems like the old techniques that we used to use and it worked for us, it doesn't work anymore. According to an article written in Health Harvard, the belly circumference that is over 35 inches is considered excess visceral fat. I mean, need to take it seriously, not just for the sake of having abs and looking good, but mainly for our health, and I'll explain why. In general, there could be three main reasons that we're storing belly fat, and one of them could be hormones, the second one could be diet related, and the third one could be physical activity. And I know they sound simple, but we will discuss all of these three in details in this video. I recently lost a lot of fat around my belly and in the past as well, and I've been experimenting a lot on myself and my clients. I looked through a bunch of research online and looked into what causes and what helps reduce belly fat. And I read a book titled From Belly Fat to Flat Belly, and how your hormones are adding inches to your waistline and subtracting years from your life by Dr. C.W. Randolph. And I am so excited to share all of the knowledge that I've gained and experiences with you guys in this video, and I promise it's summarized, so it's gonna be a pretty short video, but it's still longer than my other videos. So if you're excited, make sure you give me a thumbs up and let's get started. So many clients I talk to, and I myself was worried about this, that our metabolic rate drops after the age of 30, but that's not true. The good news is that it won't drop until you're in your 60s, which is crazy. These recent studies that I found online, and they're legit, and I've mentioned it in my other videos, your metabolic rate is not going to drop until you're 60, and you're not going to start losing muscles until you're 40. So there's nothing to worry about here. I don't want to get into the details as I mentioned in this video, but just knowing this fact is going to make it so much easier to not really buy into these myths and kind of make that excuse for ourselves. As we're aging, it seems like we're putting more fat around our belly, or just more fat in general. At this age, we may not be so worried about how it looks, or maybe we do, it doesn't matter. I do. If you do, that's okay. But we are really worried about the health implications. We could have cardiovascular disease, dementia, different types of cancer, and there are other diseases that come with excess belly fat. We want to make sure that we figure it out now, as opposed to leaving it for later that we're older, right? So this is a good age to look into this and take it seriously. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Seppi, and I'm passionate about health, nutrition, weight loss, and living with ADHD. As someone who has personally lost over 50 pounds and understands the challenges of living with ADHD, I'm so excited to share my tips and experiences and knowledge with you guys to help you on your own health journey. My videos are all about providing practical, evidence-based information and strategies that you can implement into your daily life to improve your health, optimize your nutrition, manage your weight, and thrive with ADHD. Let's talk about hormones here for a second. There are many factors that contribute to where fat stores in our bodies. If you're looking strictly at our hormones, women who have higher estrogen, they store fat around the hip area, and people who are higher in testosterone like me, we store fat more around the belly area. There are, of course, other hormones that can play a role. For example, if you're all of a sudden seeing fat around your belly, and it might be a hormonal change. For example, like it could be due to different hormones, due to cortisol, which is the main one. Cortisol won't only increase the fat storage around your belly, it can actually increase your appetite. You'll be eating more. It could increase your insulin sensitivity, or the way that your body actually metabolizes carbs and glucose. It is the hormone that you want to take seriously, because if that's increasing in your body, and as women, obviously we take a lot more in stress, we internalize a lot of things, we're dealing with a lot of pressure from society, our lives, family life. All of this can help the cortisol levels to increase. For example, if you're going through a stressful time, if you're finishing up with pregnancy, if you have work-related stuff, something just happened in your life that, for the past few years that has caused for you to put on this weight, you have to make sure that you focus on that. Release the stress from your body, because the more you stress on your diet and your calories, the harder that you are working against yourself. Maybe you're stressed and you're working out with weight too much. Maybe you're dieting, you're way too strict with your diet, you're not eating enough nutritious food. So all of this can contribute to even raising your cortisol even higher, which is going to work against you. So I want you to, maybe if you are going through a phase like this, to put that aside and really focus on your cortisol levels and releasing the stress from your body. Once you start focusing on yourself and you're in a better mental state, you will naturally see that your appetite will start going down. I have made a bunch of videos on supplements and techniques on reducing stress. I highly recommend you check them out. I will leave them here and in the description below. I'm a new big fan of this new supplement I found called Magic Mind. I love it. You could use supplements like this instead of stressors like coffee that you might be drinking every day. This boosts your energy, make you happier, keep you focused. And the reason that I really love it is because there are ingredients like turmeric, which is gonna lower your inflammation. There's ashwagandha and rhodiola rosea, which is gonna lower the stress. And overall, it's a very great healthy shot that you could start your day with. But if you think stress is not your problem, your hormones are balanced, and you're maybe a little higher in testosterone like me, that's why you're putting belly fat, you should be starting to take notes on this video. We will talk about a lot of good tips that you could apply to help you lose belly fat in no time. Now let's talk about diet for a second. So if the problem is your diet, then you need to start counting calories. There is no way around it. And I know I talk to a lot of my clients and they don't like it. They don't have the discipline to do it, or they don't have the patience to do it. That's okay, but you need to do it for a certain period of time. You don't have to be doing it every single day for every single meal, but just for 1 week, maybe just put it down so we know how much calories you're taking every single day. You would be using apps like MyFitnessPal. It's free. You could just record it and have an idea of how much calories you're taking. Are you in caloric surplus? Are you in deficit? What's going on with your calories, right? If you don't like counting calories, as a rule of thumb, you should always be somewhat hungry before you stop eating. You should never be snacking in between meals, which is my personal problem. You should never be full to a point that your stomach is stretched for any of your meals. Snacking will keep playing with your insulin levels and make you insulin resistant. So you have to make sure you are giving your body time between meals and not randomly snacking in between. In general, if you're looking to lose belly fat, you have to be paying a lot of attention to your diet and your calories compared to what you were doing before. Whatever you're doing now, as great as it is, it must be improved in some way or another for you to be able to see results, because it's all about those extra 100 to 100 calories that we're putting you on caloric surplus, and it's gonna cause the fat in the belly to stay there. And it's not something that you wanna hear, but it is the truth. So I really do recommend that you count the calories, because we wanna make sure what kind of calories and what kind of food that we're not paying attention to. What is it that's keeping us in the caloric surplus? So I definitely do recommend counting calories. If not, follow those 2 rules, not snacking, and always make sure you're still hungry before you stop eating. I talk about diet in my videos a lot, but I read a book on belly fat to flat belly, which is really interesting, and I shared some interesting notes that I wanted to share with you guys in this video. I definitely recommend buying the book and going through it, but if you don't want to do it, make sure you apply these notes. So this book mentions that we need to be eating food that balances our hormones. So we're going back to hormones again. For example, cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower, spinach, beetroot, turnip, these are good. You want to have citrus fruits like apple, pear, grapefruits, oranges. Have whole grain and insoluble fiber. Whole grains like whole grain sprouted bread, brown rice, carrots, zucchini, cucumbers, celery. These are good insoluble fibers. He also recommends estrogen binders like milled flaxseed, sesame seed, and flaxseed oil. They help improve low estrogen levels in your body to bring it up. So if you're high in testosterone, these are gonna help you bring up your estrogen, so kind of balance that out. Let's talk about protein for a second. It's very important. A weight loss diet or a bodybuilding diet, if you followed it, I followed it, it puts lean protein on top, lower carbs, and don't eat fruits, maybe some vegetables. As someone who's done it and sees all the bodybuilders and fitness models struggling with their health, it's not the best diet to follow. You will get shredded abs, sure. You will get that fit body look and you're gonna be toned, but it's not the most wholesome diet that you could follow. It's not really the best kind of diet for your health, and that's why I wanted to mention that in this video. Having said that, adding protein to your diet is very, very important. So we want to focus on that. How much and what kind of protein you're going to add is up to you. We've talked about that in other videos that are related to protein. If you're having meat, you have to make sure they're not raised with chemicals, antibiotics, or hormones, because that's going to contribute to your hormonal imbalance, and that's going to make you gain more fat. I personally just became vegetarian last year, and to be honest, it's not something that I recommend and promote because it is a very personal choice. But I couldn't trust the meat and the chicken and the fish that I was buying every single day, and the way they were raised or sold in the market or kept in the market. I just couldn't think about what these animals were going through. So I just stopped eating meat. I became very conscious of, this whole process. I didn't really like it, so I just stopped having it. Now I eat tofu and beans, and I feel better than ever, but this is not something I recommend. Even though tofu and beans are not also farmed in the best way possible, but it seems like it's a better choice compared to meat and chicken and fish at the moment for me. But for you, make sure you pick the best protein that you could find. Make sure you hit 100 to 150 grams a day to make sure you're not losing muscles, because the muscle mass can be lost, especially as you're aging. Make sure you're maintaining that by getting enough protein every single day. The book also talks about other supplements that are very important to take. For example, calcium, healthy oils, water, and staying away from caffeine. Simple carbs and sugar and white flour you want to stay away from. High saturated fats like bacon and dressings and french fries, those are no-nos. And alcohol. I kind of want to pause at alcohol here because as we're getting older, I know we're going to a lot of restaurants and events here and there, and even the healthy of us sometimes drink alcohol, right? So 2 to 3 times a month, it's still a lot. This can add to your weight. Red wine, for example, if you think about it, if you are doing a glass or 5 ounces of wine, it has about like 3 to 5 grams of carbs, depending on what kind, of course. It is lower than cocktails and beer, but when you drink, alcohol changes your metabolic function. So basically, when you have alcohol and food in your stomach, your body's gonna prioritize metabolizing the alcohol over your food. And the food that's waiting there is gonna be potentially stored in your fat cells. So it's gonna delay it. And not just that, alcohol causes inflammation, dehydration, it increases your appetite while you're drinking. So this is not good. There was a research published on Public Med Central, which I was looking at. This research was on 283 overweight people. These participants consumed low to moderate amount of alcohol over 1 year at baseline. They basically call 6.2 to 11.2 grams of alcohol per day. That's basically 0.44 alcoholic beverages per day. That's called the baseline. I don't know what 0.44 drinks a day means, but that's basically what it is. There were people who moderately drank and they overdrank 6.2 grams or more. So they were also involved in this participants. Then they reduced their drink quota by 50%. And then they measured how alcohol measured their impulsivity and weight loss protocols. And they took note of that. This study found that people who were more impulsive and they reduced their alcohol intake, they tended to lose more weight by the end of the program compared to those who were impulsive and they didn't cut down on alcohol, which is basically proving us and is telling us that alcohol makes us impulsive with food, and I'm sure a lot of other things that we don't want to be impulsive about, right? So remember, we're not talking about getting drunk and going crazy. We're talking about 0.44 alcoholic beverage a day or a little more. Whatever that means to you, it doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it does affect our impulsivity and our appetite. So make sure you keep that in mind. Let's talk about physical activity. If you are already watching this video and you're concerned about belly fat specifically, that means that the fat around your body might be at a lower percentage. So you're probably already active, you already are watching your diet, and you're just concerned about the belly fat specifically. So if that's the case, let's talk about that. You have to take a look at what your activity is every single day. If you're just going to the gym for an hour in the morning and then sitting at the desk for the entire desk like me, you're not active enough for the belly fat to go away at this age specifically. We need to be a lot more active. Remember when we were in our 20s, we were doing a lot more during the afternoon as well. We were hanging out, we were going to school, we're walking to different places, shopping, dating. We're excited about doing a lot of new things during the day. But when we get older, naturally, we're not as active. Therefore, you're gonna start putting on fat. And the first part that's going to experience fat gain is around the belly or around the thighs. It depends on how your hormones arrange, right? We talked about that. It depends on how active you are, and be real with yourself. See how much you're doing in a day, how active your body is. Is it enough? If it's not, you have to add a little bit of a walk, or just kind of walk on a treadmill or an incline in the afternoon. Maybe just do a couple of push-ups in the afternoon to just kind of get your body going and keep your metabolism going throughout the nighttime and afternoon. You also have to be very careful with the activity that you're going to use to add this extra cardio throughout the day. Something that you could stick to for the rest of your life would be best, because when you stop, the weight is going to come back. If you all of a sudden start going for a 5K run in the afternoon, if you do that for a while, for example, for summertime and springtime, when winter comes and you're going to stop doing that, the fat is going to start showing up. So when you pick that activity to add the cardio throughout your day, make sure you're very careful and it's something that you could stick to. The more you put attention to picking this activity, the better it is, because it's very important that it is something that you could stick to and it's not a temporary fix. Also, keep in mind, are we doing enough abs exercises, throughout the week? That's something I personally avoid, and I always tell my clients to make sure you're doing abs at least 3 times a week. I know you can't really spot reduce fat. It's not science, what I'm about to tell you, but if you focus on your abs more, it will somehow start working for you. It's kind of a manifestation technique. The more attention you put on that area, the more you're gonna start seeing results, and you're gonna see that it's working for you. And I hope it kind of makes sense. If it does and you find this advice useful, make sure you drop a like and comment below and subscribe to my channel as always. So belly fat is not as complicated. If you want to get abs, it's a different story, but if you are on your way to do it, you have to focus on eating healthier food like we mentioned above, taking care of your hormones and stress levels, and stay active throughout the day. The key to seeing results is to doing little by little, but over a long period of time. Your body needs to understand that you're going through a transition and you're gonna have a new body. You're transforming to a new person. This is not something that you will do for a few weeks and you're gonna stop doing afterwards. This needs to be done over a long period of time. So this is a transition. Make sure you take your time doing that. We have to gradually make this until we see a transition and transformation. This will take a minimum of 8 weeks for you to see any results, and basically 2 months. So make sure you keep at it, you stay patient, and you can do this with me. I'm doing this right now, and I will share my results afterwards on my YouTube channel. If you like this video, make sure you like it, drop a heart in the comments, subscribe to my channel. I would love to hear from you guys. I hope you guys love this video. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you for subscribing every single day. It makes me so motivated to make more videos for you guys. Love you all. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.